baby, they'll tell you. It's an interesting time to look at American culture. Is it more divided than it's ever been? Or is American society formulated on division from its inception to its evolution, from its independence wars, right down to the civil strife that defined it, 100 years ago?
Some experts actually believe that the reversal of Roe v. Wade is likely to trigger battles among states that could be unlike anything we've seen since before the Civil War.
Talk of a civil war might seem highfalutin and ridiculous, but 44% of Americans believe that the nation is heading towards a civil war. Gun control, pro-life, pro-choice issues, the hatred and loathing between two centrist parties, neither of which say anything that radical like, why don't we start allowing communities to govern themselves, allow people to freely formulate localised governments, let's wrestle power away from centralised corporations. No one's discussing those kind of issues, but maybe it's time to start. Let's have a look at this article. This is from Daniel Pinchbeck's Substack, citing an article by Stephen March. American liberals in the American cities retain a kind of desperate faith in their country's institutions that amounts to nearly delusion. Americans have taught themselves for 250 years that their country, in its ideals and systems, is the solution to history. It is tough under those conditions to accept being just another of history's half perpetrators, half victims. Unfortunately, America appears to have entered into a self-defeating loop in which the collapsing system prevents reforms to the system itself. He gives a useful shorthand definition for a civil war from the Peace Research Institute in Oslo to keep in mind. 1,000 combatant deaths within a year. That is what constitutes a war. If there are 1,000 combatant deaths within a year, that constitutes civil war. There is also civil strife, which begins at 25 deaths a year. In the United States in 2019, domestic anti-government extremists killed 42 people. In 2018, they killed 53 people. In 2017, 37. In 2016, 72. And in 2015, 70. By this definition, America is already in a state of civil strife and on the threshold of civil war.
All praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, B'Shem HaRikakodash. Double honors to our apostle elders, which rule Great Millstone well. And shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure into the end. Shalom wa abba ball. All right, so as you heard that actor putting out on his channel that we're already pretty much in civil war. All right, so I'm going to show you with the numbers because he showed you up to 2015. I'm going to show you 2021 because that's as far as they go. And we are in a civil war, all right? This is Matthew 24, verse, I'm going to read verse 7. Yahushua was prophesying of a race war, civil war, taking place in the last days in Matthew 24, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. All right, so you got the pestilence, you got the famines because now they can't even harvest the food without the immigrant. All right, kingdom against kingdom, you got different nations, different countries talking about World War III, nation against nation. That nationality against nationality. You got a race war about to take place, right? If not already happening. But I'm going to show you on the statistics what it says. It says I took a picture of this one. I asked to Google what is the standard for a civil war. It says some political scientists define a civil war as having more than 1,000 casualties, while others further specify that at least 100 must come from each side. All right? So now, let's go to the CDC, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and let's get the numbers. All right? And like I said, this one is for 2020. It says in 2020, and this is the data used for U.S. assault or homicide. It says emergency department visits. Number of emergency department visits for assault. 1.4 million people were assaulted in 2020. It says in mortality, all homicides, there was 26,031 in America. It says firearm homicides show shooting, just like in a war. It says number of deaths, 20,958. You hear that? 20,958 firearm homicides in 2021. Let's go back to the standard. Some political scientists define a civil war as having more than 1,000 casualties, while others further specify that at least 100 must come from each side. So you're in a civil war currently, and it's only going to get worse, according to prophecy. Another number I wanted to show you was the suicide rate. All right, it says suicide. Let me just get them down. It says all suicides in 2021, 48,183 is what they telling us. Firearm suicides, 26,328. So you had in 2021, 26,000 people and 328 people, right? 26,328 people kill themselves with guns. At the same time, you had 46,000 killing each other with guns. So that's 26,000. And if you do this one here, firearms, 20,000, you got almost 50,000 people killing, either dying by gun, by self-infliction, or murder someone else with a gun. All right, so you in America are in a civil war. These prophecies in the Holy Scriptures are faithful and true. All right, it says in verse 9, Yahushua says, "Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake." So that's the time we're in. We're in the time of the persecution of the saints. But these devils, the so-called Caucasians, they're going to find themselves fighting against Yahushua. And I'm talking about the elite that control the world. They're going to persecute the saints. But then Yahushua is going to come and fight for us and deliver us from our oppressor. And in fact, put that oppressor and the other nations under our feet as slaves. All praises and glory to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushua B'Shem HaRakakodash. Double honors unto our apostle elders which rule Great Millstone well, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure unto the end. Shalom wa abababal.